Let's dive into the discussions shaping the nation.
Today I'm going to mark Europe Day because I want to talk positively. I want to sit here because I have seen the change. I've seen the changes in my lifetime, but I do think even in the years before it, I think is ultimately why the European Union has come into being, and the steps that went before to get to that point, I think were obviously the worst things that have ever happened. Because just over 80 years ago, Europe was devastated by the horrors of the Second World War. I suppose all around many of our rooms, we have the books, we have the films, we have the movies, we have the documentaries. But I think ultimately at the heart of it, because we never experienced it, we'll never truly understand it. But the people who came together to have, I suppose, to bring to Europe together, and ultimately why we're celebrating, did experience it. And I suppose in part there's a risk too, that as we remove ourselves from it, we risk not understanding anymore the complete devastation that can happen, especially in our continent. Obviously, previous speakers have spoken of how those conflicts are in other parts of the world, and obviously not too far from us, and how they're impacting. But the reality of actually living it is something that brought France and Germany together. Nations were torn apart, 60 million people were dead, and obviously all over the continent, the continent was in ruin. Ireland, in fairness, got through it to a degree, but at the same time, we did see up close the devastation. But out of the ruin came a bold and visionary idea. Only through unity, through mutual respect and a shared prosperity could Europe come together and ensure that war would never happen again. From the 1860s right through to World War I, and obviously into World War II, there had been ongoing conflicts between France and Germany, and ultimately the Schuman Declaration of 1950 is probably the very reason not only that we're here in this way, but also more importantly that the European Union is together as it is. Ireland obviously didn't join that European Union initially, or the European EEC at the time, but when we did, it transformed our country. I suppose I have seen the benefits through my generation, but in previous generations, through the early 70s, we began to see it. Obviously, when I was in school, Ireland was, we used to call them the pigs. So they were called Portugal, Ireland, Greece and Spain. Ireland is no longer one of those countries, and it's been through the benefit of a lot of the investment and a lot of the work that we've done to Europe has got there. So I do think ultimately we should never forget the impact that being part of Europe has had on our economy. So ultimately that's why I do want to speak positively. We know, obviously we can see that the benefits of Europe through economics, but also through shared culture. And I think the way we share our culture is something that we need to recognise on a positive day. So I would say, it being Europe Day, that let us reaffirm our dedication to a Europe that stands for peace, stands for democracy, and I suppose for solidarity, not just in words, but in action. Ireland will continue to play its part, has played its part, constructively, proudly, and with purpose. And I, as a newly elected TD, obviously elected a few months now, but I'm delighted to be able to stand here on Europe Day and recognise how Europe has made its contribution to Ireland, and indeed how Ireland has made its contribution to Europe.
Like, share, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.